And just for a few moments, possibly sitting for a little while, taking it easy, so to speak. Sitting in a chair, relaxing, resting. Just taking a few minutes for yourself. It's okay now just to let your thoughts begin to wander with your eyes open or closed. And you may begin to notice your eyes, even if you wish them to open from time to time. You may find them just easily closing, because I really wouldn't want you to go into a trance too quickly. It's much easier simply to allow that feeling in a shoulder, in a hand, as you continue to listen to the sounds of my voice, the sounds in the room, the sounds outside the room, other voices, other rooms, while you pay close attention to the ever so slight changes, let's say in your arm, or maybe in your hand. If not this hand, maybe that hand. So many things can happen automatically, and it's okay to let your mind wander as you begin to wonder what's going on and what I'm going to say. And you'll be able to go into a trance while your conscious mind has already begun to drift down. And just let go for a little while, allowing the body to relax, the mind to relax with it, without knowing at times how much more comfortable you really can become. And sooner or later, everyone's had the experience of falling asleep while watching television, or as you're reading a book, or doing some other kinds of menial, light, attentive bearing, fine situation, paying close attention to this storyline now, just closing the eyes just for a moment. It's safe. It's safe to rest quietly, maybe listening to the light sounds of the music in the background, listening to my voice in that comfortably relaxed way. And when a word or phrase reminds you of a particular memory, as you drift away from my voice to what you did just before you began this relaxation exercise, to the kind of morning or evening you had, kinds of things we occupy ourselves with, sometimes very mundane things, brushing our hair, sitting in front of a mirror, looking at the subtle changes in the lines on our face, or even as our mind leaves something we're paying attention to, talking to a friend, how our mind goes from being conscious of the moment and then going inside to let our brilliant unconscious mind begin to wander effortlessly about anything that comes our way. And so dreaming away for a time and coming back to the words again, then dreaming away again until the words and the soothing sound of my voice may be in the background of your mind now, just for a time. And the unconscious mind continues to hear everything of importance to you, while the unconscious mind continues to hear everything of importance to you, while the conscious mind may not notice that you need not listen at all to everything I say, because you've known all along how much easier it is to learn something when you're relaxed. Though I wouldn't want you to relax too deeply at first. So much more important for you to recognize the small changes, tiny, barely noticeable changes happening naturally in your breathing, in your pulse, relaxation of your face, in a feeling of comfort, security, because your unconscious will choose to relax maybe your baby finger, the baby finger on your left hand, or maybe your right thumb and the feelings there, and the heaviness or lightness of your right arm. And it's okay. It's okay to notice your wrist, where it sits, perhaps on your lap, or not. Where will be a handy place to begin relaxing? Doesn't matter really at all, because your conscious mind can enjoy being curious about where those feelings will begin. If you drop a pebble into a pool of water, the water flows and ripples on the surface, but just below the surface, just beneath the surface of awareness, the pebble drifts down, 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 all the way down, past the water animals, drifting down, past the water plants, gently floating down. Nothing is disturbed as it slowly comes to rest on the bottom of a quiet pool. Even the surface ripples become slower and quieter, and beneath the surface, all is calm, all is still, and you can recognize your ability to relax and comfortably reflect on anything that comes into your mind now. Perfectly simple, perfectly easy to let yourself and these new feelings continue to deepen, just as a dream continues to deepen, drifting all the way down now. That's right. And just like that, while you continue to relax, because I can begin to wonder just
There
how
is no
Alice
perfect
in
way
Wonderland felt
to relax.
as she met all those
There
unusual
is no
creatures
perfect
and heard
altered
all
state
those strange words,
to enter into.
but kept going on her way,
It's just what
not
happens.
knowing what to expect
naturally.
that day,
It's always
not knowing what
different
next or
each
where
time.
to do. Might seem to
No
be
two
a bit strange at first,
snowflakes are
but
exactly
after a while,
alike.
before you have a chance to even think about
The
it,
fingerprints of twins,
without saying anything
they differ.
to yourself or
So
anybody at
who's
all.
to say
That's
which
right.
is the right one
It all
and
becomes an
which is the
adventure.
left?
Everything
And no matter how hard
Everything.
we try
that comes to mind
to do things
can be an adventure
perfectly,
that
the odd
delights
thing
the
is
child
we always prefer
or the child's
thing
mind inside of
that
an
is
adult
different,
that's
or
playful
unique,
and eager
something
to have fun
one of a kind,
and enjoy, and is very,
like
very
stamps
inquisitive
printed
about things
upside down,
that fascinate
or coins
the mind,
made a little bit wrong.
because you never do know
It's funny
what's next,
or
what
even
will be,
amusing
how it will be,
to
how to plan for things that
easily
you're unaware
become
of,
aware
but you still have
of the
some
idea
sense of gentle
of
excitement,
a prized
of
collector
anticipation of something
and
good,
those items
and
that the collector
you can know
would represent
that it's okay
as they collect
not to know
very different
what the future holds
from
in
all
store.
the rest. And
Because
even
things change over time, as we
if you
know,
need a
and
magnifying
things change
lens
in the mind
to see the imperfection,
as your
because
rich,
we want to see things
intelligent,
differently,
creative,
to see things bigger
unconscious mind
or smaller
changes your mind
than we think they
about
are,
how things feel
like a mirror,
and about how things are.
a mirror where
Just
we
like
see
Alice,
different shapes,
when she saw that magic
different
bottle
shapes today than we
that said,
saw yesterday.
"Drink me," on
We
the
find
label,
things of interest,
and when she did,
and who knows
she got
what will be of
larger
interest
and
in
much
that
larger
mirror
and much
tomorrow.
larger,
the shapes
and she saw
and
herself
forms that they
getting
take,
so large,
how they change,
and then all of a
so
sudden,
we really see
she got much smaller,
what different would really be,
then smaller,
if
and
different
smaller still,
we really were,
smaller than she had ever
which
been
may
before,
explain the collection
or at least it seemed
in
that way
art.
to her.
museums all
Now,
around the world.
it may be interesting to
No
notice
one wall
that when
is
people
a Van
relax, or play,
no one wall
or are
is a
comfortable,
Picasso.
or at ease,
No one
or
wall
out in nature,
is a Warhol.
or talking to a trusted
And what
friend
would
or
a
family
hall
member,
or a wall
or even recollecting
of Andy
very,
Warhols
very pleasant
look
things
like?
from your past, and
If
how
you
easy
were
they come to
to
mind.
enter this creative
certainly
museum in our mind,
Things can
who
begin
would
to
you
change.
greet?
One
Could
arm
you possibly
may seem
greet
higher
Magritte?
than the other, or a leg
And would you be gleeful
may seem heavier
to meet
than before,
Klee?
and that's
What
perfectly
kinds
normal,
of things would you
perfectly
say
natural for the
or point
unconscious
to
mind.
when it comes to
Knows
the
everything
pointillism
about you,
of Surratt?
knows everything, and is
If you
willing
stood
to share
near
just
the
those
sculptures
things that
of
would be most
Rodin,
helpful now.
or sometimes
Who knows what it is?
looking
Who knows what you're
further
ready to learn?
as you walk
What
through
would be
the museum
to your
and
best
finding
advantage?
a
that
rich
if you
display of Basquiat's
If you could,
paintings.
sometime or somewhere, just in your behavior
How
even,
wonderful.
get those
What a treat
changes
for
that
the
you were looking
eye
for
to have their
automatically.
beauty
Just
and power
noticing
stand
maybe a
out.
different feeling in the
everything
most ordinary
is out
kinds
of
of
place.
behaviors. Well, those
out of
kinds of
proportion.
changes where
Two
one
legs.
notices, for instance, now,
different lengths,
that leg,
2 arms,
that's right,
different
that leg
sizes.
may seem just a little
And
heavier
yet,
than it was
it is
before.
all art of the
Or
highest
even
form.
Your entire body
Different paintings,
becomes more difficult to find.
different styles.
It can be,
like
spread
clothing
out.
styles that change
or it
from
may
one age to
seem
another,
to float
and yet
at
each is
times,
beautiful and flattering
or
in
get
its own
smaller
way.
and smaller,
And in the eye
and
of the
smaller,
beholder, every
as the
flower
chair
is unique,
feels bigger
designed the way
and
it should
bigger
be,
and bigger,
to be
where
exactly
the feet
what it is.
seems to change
And that
in
is
some
why
way,
we used to play
while the hands do
a
it
game
differently.
of sorts as children.
And while after a while you
To
begin to
decide which
wonder
flower
how
we
you'll
would
ever
be,
put it all back together
and
again,
which we already were,
just as Alice
and then to really
she
look at it later,
had her adventure
really
in
look
Wonderland,
surprised by what we
began
found.
to wonder,
Something
and
you
yet
can do
that
as
smile
well
on her face
whenever you decide
throughout her
which
experience
flower you belong to.
had a way of letting her know
But for
just
right
the
now,
way
we
things
don't need to
belong.
know how
But
you
how
will
does it
really
really
feel
belong?
when you decide
What
to
is the
know
way
that
that it
what
should be?
seems so wrong, after all,
Because tastes change
belongs to
over time.
some other field
So what we
of
prefer
vision
today is not
where
what we
you put
want tomorrow.
the landscapes
And
and
what seems to
bodyscapes
be
together,
exactly right
so
now
they can be quite
may be
right
what is
after
left
all,
over later on.
after you do
And everywhere you
all
look,
your homework
things are
and
changing,
explore your
rearranging,
own museum
and yet you
in the
remain
beautiful
the center,
gardens
calm,
of your mind.
alert,
And certainly you
aware,
don't have to wait
allowing these
spring
awarenesses
to come around
to take you comfortably
to begin now
in whatever it is that you
during
need to know right
this
now
conversation
that will help you.
to plant those flowers.
So those
Why
one
not
or two or
plant
three
them now
things that you
in
need to know,
preparation
that
for
if you
those
could
warm
know without your
April
conscious
and
mind
May
being aware of it,
days
but show up
when those
in
seeds
your
that you're
behavior
planting
for that
now
improvement
begin
that you've been
to take shape.
so wanting but
take
didn't know
form.
how to dream it,
What kinds of
didn't
things would
know
you plant?
you could dream it
What kinds
into
of flowers
existence.
would you like to see
So that's hard to
come
know,
forward?
right?
Why not
That's
take a
hard
moment
to know, isn't
to
that right?
explore your own museum
What is the way things ought to be?
in that
And
fertile
in the summer,
garden of your
trees come into full
Where you can
bloom
collect
movement.
mind? What
that you've
kinds
been
of flowers
So wanting,
would you
but
like
didn't
to
know
see
how to dream it.
come forward?
Didn't know you could
Why
dream
not take a
it
moment
into
to
existence.
explore your own museum
So that's hard to know.
in that
Right.
fertile
That's hard
garden
to
of your
know,
mind,
isn't that right? What is the
where you
way
can
things
collect
ought to be?
what you
And
need to
in
know
the summer, trees
to protect
come into full bloom,
your own treasure,
and those flowers
protecting yourself
now
all along,
they're no longer
knowing
there, but we can
that you
dream
are well,
of them.
and all is well,
And in autumn,
and
the
all
green
is coming
changes.
together
They become
in a
reds,
brand new way that can be
orange,
so surprising,
browns, and
so
yellows.
surprising
And in winter,
delightful and enriching,
They're all gone
enriching your life, and even
and begin
as
again
you
next spring.
begin to
Only
wonder
now,
what
a
that
new
treasure
limb grows
will be,
here, and
that
an old
treasure
one dies
that you will
there.
collect,
And how should that
and
tree be?
that you do not really know
How should that tree
what
be?
you really think
Should it be taller,
about what
or
you
shorter?
really think
more
about
leaves,
you.
or fewer,
That's right.
greener, or maybe
Don't have
more
to know
rounded
that
perhaps?
right now.
Though there are those who might
Just
say
allowing it.
that the tree is just the way it is,
It
and the way it is
continuous.
all that it needs to be.
Allowing yourself
So why not allow
just to be
this wonderful story of Alice,
that awareness,
where everything felt
that
different,
state
And yet she discovered how it feels to love being just the way she was.
Because it's a modern luxury
With fences,
to be able to have, especially in the winter,
fences used with horses.
in a cool room when it's hot outside,
Have a few tiny strands of
and to be
wire.
able to set a
That
thermostat
wire goes
that
current of
maintains a
electricity
constant
that goes
temperature.
through it.
No
Not the
matter
kind
how
of
much
electricity that
the
is
weather
dangerous,
changes,
just the kind that
is now
gives a
we
jolt,
have computer
like static
controller
electricity you get
devices
from walking on rugs.
that turns off
The sudden
the furnace
sharp
after
spark.
we leave,
These
and
wires
turns it
stretch
back
all
on
around the field.
after we come home,
And as horses walk from place to
and it
place,
turns it down
they quickly
at
learn
night,
where to go
so that when
and where
we're
they
snuggled
don't want to venture.
under the
All
covers,
it takes is a
because
few
it
brushes
all
against the wire,
automatically,
a few sudden startling zaps.
what a
While at
lovely
other
thing,
times, very smart animals,
and
they
what a
learn
relaxing
to look,
idea.
not touch. They learn so well, in
What you
fact,
have
after
to
a
do is
while,
look around the
the
world,
farmer can turn off the
because
electricity
the things were not always so.
and replace the wires with
Because
string,
up north,
and those horses
they have
will stay
winters,
put,
they've
fenced
learned to
in,
use the cold
but nothing at all,
to create winter
stopped in the
carnivals.
tracks
And sports
by the
people down
feeling
south have
that
never
some
seen
places
those.
are off limits,
Even their clothes are different,
where they are
warmer,
is safe
and more weatherproof, because they
they
know
are
they
where they
can't
are
change
is safe
the cold,
as long as they just stay put.
and so
Satisfied,
they use it for all it's worth.
an invisible
While people in
barrier
the south
or boundary
have
created
their
by
own
the mind.
styles,
But once
one
one
sports,
horse goes through it,
and in really
all
hot
have
spots,
to follow.
they barely wear any clothes at all.
That barrier is
Sometimes
shattered. That
they don't
barrier
do anything
is broken.
at all,
With no restraints
because they know
on where they go
if
next.
you can't change it,
But where
well,
to
you
go
better not fight it,
is the next concern.
or you might as well use it.
A problem everyone
So
faces.
everywhere you go,
And not everyone
even though we
knows
can't
how to
control
solve,
it, inside,
which is probably why
we still
we
can't
can
control
fortune
it
these days,
outside.
telling people
Because
are
even though we can control it
and giving
inside,
advice on what they
we
should
still
do.
can't control it outside.
We sure don't know how
That's
a horse knows where to go,
And if it's not quite
but we do
right
know
on the
that
inside,
once they know where they're going,
you can make it warmer,
it's difficult to
or
stop
cooler.
them or rein
And
them
if it's
in.
not quite right,
Because once
on the
that
outside,
tired, hungry horse sees
then
that stable or
you might as
barn at
well
the bottom of the hill,
make the most of it
all they have to do
and
is
use it
give
to your
their
advantage
and it will
and get used to
take
it,
over as
and
quickly
even like it
and as surely as
like
it
that,
can. Because it
because
wants to
that's
be comfortable.
how it is.
Because it wants to be
It's
fed.
always more pleasant
And once it
to
knows
want what you've
where
got,
to go,
and to
and
learn
once it knows
to enjoy it,
how to get what
unless
it
you
wants,
decide to
even
move
an
someplace
imaginary
else,
boundary
which some
can be
people
leaped on the
can't
way to
do.
that goal. And what fun
and other people
to hold on
wouldn't
tight
do it
and
if they
just
could,
let it run, trusting
because they feel at
that it
home
will
there,
take you there.
like they belong there,
It will
exactly
take you there
where they are.
swiftly. It will take you there
Whether the weather
with great
is too
pleasure,
hot, or whether
pleasure.
the weather
Every
is so
child
cold
and
that
every
it can
adult
freeze
can
fire.
treasure. So why
They
not
like it like that,
do it yourself
and they have
to treasure
found
that moment
some
now,
way
even
to
though
take full
you're
advantage
curious
of
about
just the way it is, the way
as
movie
these
stars
thoughts
do,
continue to roam
because
around,
they come in all
wondering
shapes,
just what
they come in all
to say
sizes,
next.
with every size nose,
You'll be able to
and every
utilize
size ears,
this
and every
quiet
size
time,
eyes,
this
to help learn to use all of this
safe
to their own advantage,
just to let your
their
mind
own unique quality
as you continue
their own special
what
appeal
it means
that
to
they amplify
and sit
and
back
enjoy.
and look
And so
over
we do too.
unconsciously
Enjoy
The
the
way
snow
we enjoy the snow,
quite completely.
or swimming in the
that
surf,
What a lovely
you
thing
enjoy,
or basking
about the
in
able
the
to
blazing
enjoy
sun,
that give you
oneself
life meaning,
just like the
completely.
locals
and
do,
about those sensations
And
enjoying
sometimes
that bring you
what
comfort,
others
we go back
enjoy
in
those
our memory
healthy
because
sensations.
put
they've learned to
some things
enjoy
away.
exactly
The
what
toys
they
that
have,
we once played with,
as we do too.
put away
What a nice thing
until
to
later.
know that your unconscious
Some
can take care of
remember
all of this for you
old toys,
And as we remember
school
and
papers,
easily.
to forget that which we no longer need
Just
to
how your
remember,
unconscious will
some news,
lead
what it
you
feels
into
some
like
ignored,
this
to go
quiet
from
moment
my
where
voice
feeling
you've
to
been
any
and
wandering
also
thought that
stored
just comes
so
right into your mind,
back in the
clearly
house,
and the sound
and
full of
of
places,
the
for
words
such a period of time
full
now.
as
of
you
empty
continue
I'm
to drift
curious
down,
filled
when
and soon
you'll stop thinking
you'll be able
altogether
to drift all
just
the
let
way
yourself
down,
drift off
all the way down,
into
and
those
enjoy all the benefits,
ideas, into those
like a deep
unconscious
sleep,
the four
like a
walls,
deep nap,
that will give you
where you can
oneself,
dream
a spark,
and have the
that
most
spark of
fascinating,
life,
fulfilling
where you can
dreams.
wander
to work
These
adventure,
fascinating,
where you
fulfilling
can
dreams.
and to
feel
let
These
good
dreams that fill your
about this
desire,
wander
little
just the way your
adventure,
unconscious would like them
and
to,
after a while,
safely,
allowing
up
that
easily,
metaphor,
at the
the
sky,
horses,
the big
that
doing
feeling
nothing at all,
blue
of safety,
feeling
that
just
feeling
sky
of relaxation,
overhead,
good,
that
and
feeling
letting
of
the
comfort,
mind
and
wander,
about how
the
the
feeling
mind
or thought
can allow
perhaps
itself
wander
as you
above
to
enter
move
sky,
forward,
those images,
even
those
more
alterations
nighttime,
in your
even
awareness
stars come out,
mind wandering,
as your
and
conscious
all
mind
the things
just the way
becomes,
gypsies
has
wander
become so much more
That's
comfortable,
foundation,
from place to
that
place,
your unconscious mind
and
never
all
going
those
anywhere
places
special,
more and more
tell me
just
responsibility
drifting.
where to
for
go,
guiding and directing
and
your
what to do.
thoughts and
And that
responses,
sounds kind of romantic
remembering
What will
and
be done?
relaxing,
were
unless
what
there's
position,
some place,
What will be done?
and what you
something
did,
And what are the plans
that you
and what was
really
sent
want
to
to
you
have,
for your
God,
benefit,
something you really want to
and
do.
all that
a
you
solid
learned,
foundation
even now,
to
Because
build
it's
upon?
hard to arrive at your goal
re-experience that
What
memory
does one
if you
do
don't know
with
where
that
you're
going.
solid foundation?
that becomes a part
if you
of
do not use a
the
map,
now,
but just turn here, stand
because
there,
you can allow
without
yourself
planning ahead,
And
to have
place
all
without
the
knowing
enjoyment
dig a
how
hole
to
and
know
all the
what
benefits
is right
of allowing yourself
and what is left,
to enjoy the
and what
experience
is the
of
right
right
direction
now
for you to go
and
in,
enjoy the
Right.
what you
benefits
really want to do.
of drifting even
a new
deeper
space.
Because if you consider the animals of the world,